So as a teenager or maybe in your early 20s, what are some of the things that you should be thinking about when it comes to maybe trying to save money or earn more money, try and grow some sort of wealth, how to get started trying to grow your wealth, your money, your savings and your income. So I'm going to go through all of these things that you might want to be thinking about, investments and different strategies as well. So I'm going to go through all of that in this video. So the first one, definitely if you are a young person, you're a teenager, early 20s, you've just got to be working, obviously. And I know you'll be at school as well, but even when you are at school, there is a lot of time when you are young that you're just not really doing anything, weekends, evenings, or even if you are just sat at home, instead of maybe playing games, you might want to start maybe looking at trying to earn some money online. And yeah, you can make money from playing games maybe as well. But really, if you are a teenager or young person and you really are looking to grow money, savings, wealth, then you're going to have an income stream, because when you are young, there's certain things you have and certain things you don't have. You have time and energy, but you don't have wealth, you don't have money there for you. And the only way to change that is to just get out there, start earning some cash. Working isn't just about money though, it's also about experience and also contacts, just getting to know people in different places, different industries, meet people at your work or through your work. No matter what it is, you just get out there, you start meeting people, you start gaining experience in different things, which only is a positive experience. Taking risks is something you should absolutely do when you're young, especially a teenager, because you have the time and the energy to essentially recover if something goes wrong. Not too wrong, but if you start a business or you do something or you get a job and you realize you don't like that job, it's okay. You have plenty of time to figure out what you want to do. But when you are young, this is the best time to actually figure that out. Do things that you don't necessarily like that much or think you may not like, and you will learn tons from that. So what are some of the risks that you can take? Well, firstly, getting any type of job, just putting yourself out there, maybe meeting people, asking older people what they think they should do. Just try and take some risks and do something. If you do absolutely nothing, then nothing is going to happen for you. And obviously, I'm going to talk about starting a business in a second, but before that, let's talk about actually some of the risks that you definitely shouldn't take and shouldn't fall into these traps. So what should you be careful of? Any of these get rich quick schemes, Bitcoin, crypto investing, all of these things, they're just very good to stay away from. You have to not fall into those traps, putting money in. This is just gambling basically. And whilst some people do win at the roulette table occasionally, vast majority lose, and it's just not going to be a good idea. You're going to put yourself actually in a bad position to start off with. So there are risks that you can take in terms of just getting out there, meeting people, working. But all of these get rich quick or build your wealth now, that sort of thing, paying people to maybe mentor you online, it's just not a good thing to do. It's just going to be a negative for you. In my experience, all of those things just detract from the core principles that you want to be sticking to, which is just working hard, getting out there, getting experience, especially as a teenager. Also, just from personal experience being a broker for a long time, I've seen so many people try and trade the markets, trade Forex, trade gold, trade oil, get into some really bad states. When you're a teenager, obviously 18, you can maybe start a broking account. These types of things really just best to stay away from, because you really don't know about the markets at this age. And trading, day trading, things like this, very risky. They're just not going to work out for you. They may work out for one person getting lucky, but it's just best not to take those silly risks and concentrate on some risky things that are actually more solid and beneficial for you. Getting skills is the most important thing when you're young, and there's really two ways to do this. The first is obviously to go to college, and that may definitely be for you with all of the stuff that goes with it, with all of the debt and the better job prospects, hopefully at the end of it, but it's going to take a long time. 4 years, $100,000 and all of that. But the other way is just to get practical job experience, and there's many ways to do this, but really, when you are a teenager, if you want a job, you're going to have some sort of skill. So a really practical piece of advice is maybe if you are young and you do want to start earning money, then try and get a really specific skill that is in demand. So it doesn't even have to be that highbrow. Maybe you just clean cars. You go around and clean everyone's car, you mow the lawn, you do landscaping or anything like that. Maybe if you are good at using computers, which most young people are, learn graphic design or editing, or there are so many people that need just some small work to be done. They don't want to go to a really big professional business, but you can go online. And if you do learn that, that's a skill that you can use to start earning money. And again, earning money is the first step to having something to invest with. So, okay, let's talk about investing and saving. When you are young, should you invest your money? Is it a good thing to do to put money aside? Well, obviously that's going to be up to you. And generally with investments, especially with investing in the stock market or maybe in investment funds which have stocks in them, these are two common investments for individual investors. There's really one main theme here, which is the longer that you hold it, over time, usually that means a larger investment return. So if we take the last 100 years of the stock market, if you were in it 100 years ago, you would have made a very high return comparatively to if you had invested last week. So when it comes to stocks and shares or investing, the longer you hold it, usually the better results that you get. So keep that in mind. If you can start when you're very young, putting money aside, then over time, throughout your life, that is going to grow into a big investment. Things that you should invest in when you are young, again, are what are considered slightly riskier investments. So equities, definitely not Bitcoin or anything like that, but just equities. They are considered quite high risk. Things like this that have a long time horizon and can over time outperform other investments like bonds or just a savings account. So if you can invest in the stock market, the younger the better for sure. With all of these things, it's going to take quite a lot of research on your part, definitely. And most individual investors are better investing in investment funds or exchange traded funds. And these are essentially a vehicle. So you just invest in this fund and the actual fund has many different investments in there. So it enables you to buy one thing, and that thing has many different stocks and shares and bonds and cash and gold and lots of other things in it. So it's a better investment than just trying to pick some stocks, as they are quite risky overall. Should you be investing and trying to invest to get money back when you're young? Usually investing is for the long term, which means you put some money aside in your investments that you don't have any use for, and then you wait an extremely long time, like until you're retiring, to actually draw on those investments. And that may not be right for you right now. You may want to go to college, you may want to go traveling, and these are really important things as well. And it's obviously up to you whether you place emphasis on saving all of your money in investments and wanting that, or you actually just want some cash to go and live your life and experience things when you're young. There's no really right or wrong here, it's just what's right for you. Also, something to bear in mind with investments is that short term, they really aren't going to pay you much in return. So for example, if you have a $100 investment and you're making a 5% annual return, that's only $5 a year. So it's really not going to be paying for your lifestyle whatsoever. Even if you had $10,000, 5% is only $500. So you're not going to be earning pretty much anything from your investments over a 1 year period. Over your life, it's going to make a big difference. But definitely if you're thinking of putting a little bit of money in investments and trying to live off that, it's not really going to be the case. It's a long-term thing that you're going to have to look into. Investing in your future may be a better bet than investing in the stock market or other investments. And this just means that maybe you do have a bit of cash or time. Maybe invest in skills for yourself, because maybe having a skill will mean that you can just double your wages from what you're earning now. So if you have a specific skill that is in demand, then you're going to have a lot of work. And when you're young, you have time, you have energy to actually work. And having a skill, learning a skill, maybe going out on a course to learn some skills, maybe plumbing or electrical engineering, something like that. If you don't want to go to college, then maybe that is going to, over the short term, actually just enable you to earn way more money than putting it in the stock market. So that's also something to consider, that investing in yourself and skills may actually give you a better return short term than in the stock market. And some practical tips when it comes to opening a business. Definitely, I think if you're a young person and you want to open a business, even if you just have a skill, maybe you're an editor and you just think, I can apply my services, I can sit on my computer, I can edit for people, or I can edit images and just make lots of different types of photos and images and photoshops for people. You can do that. And what I would say, just really practically, if you're a young person with a business, is obviously you don't have a big timeline, you don't have a lot of history that people are going to trust. So what I would do is really just concentrate on one specific area that people may need. Don't try and open a huge business because you don't have the resources, you don't have the experience, but you can be extremely skilled in one specific area. And actually that may mean that people trust you more. If you have something that you're very good at or something that you're okay at, maybe just focus in on that one thing that you can either sell, or maybe you have a skill that you can do for other people. You'll notice that a lot of self-made millionaires and people that have huge businesses, that isn't what they started when they were young. When they were kids, they just started this really small sort of niche business and just were really good at that specific thing. And that gave them the first start. That gave them their first bit of cash. And obviously it's not a big business, so it might not be able to grow into a huge business as you get older, but it may give you that first bit of cash. And having that first bit of income when you're a young person just gives you the opportunity to then go and do anything else that you want as you get older and you get a bit more cash behind you. I hope those tips were useful. That's my experience of it anyway, from starting a business at 20 and then going into investing. I just see the patterns and they are really the same. I hope it helped you anyway. If it did, please give me a sub and a thumbs up on the video would be appreciated as well. Thank you for watching though. That's it for this time, and I'll see you in the next one.